Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Ullman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
And today we will be playing chapters, let me count, 4 and 5?
That's correct.
Mario. I did it. But before we get to all of that, how was everybody's week?
So, when we were starting the stage, I have to put a title, and the first pun that popped into my mind was Papal Mario. And I was like, is Papal Mario anything? Can I make a joke out of it? And then I thought, no, that's not anything. But I Googled Papal Mario, and sure enough, the first image result is Paper Mario with a Pope hat. So good job, everyone. There are a few more images of Mario dressed as a Pope. There are a few images of Pope Francis, and then once you get into about image number 10 or so, there start being a few AI-generated images of Super Mario fighting the Pope, which he would never do. He is a good Catholic boy. So bad job on that. Other than that, I played all of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade: episode intermission, which is the episode where you play as Yuffie, and Yuffie's battle mechanics are really fun.
Mm-hmm.
The plot is kind of really bad, but it gives it the episode does give Yuffie some depth, which she didn't have in the original game, because the original game there was just not really anything to her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it was fun. Weirdly, near the end, the plot sort of breaks down so that it can do Dirge of Cerberus fan service.
All right.
Which is a weird direction to go, but okay. And I've not played Dirge of Cerberus, so that it wasn't very effective on me. But I only knew it was Dirge of Cerberus stuff because Maddie Grace told me. And then just about 2 hours ago, I started playing Crisis Core Reunion because I want to try and finish that before Rebirth comes out, which is a fool's errand, but apparently it's not actually very long, so I'm going to try.
I wish you the best.
Thank you. You can really tell that it's a PSP game that Square Enix made back during the PSP game era, and not a actual game that they made after their growth in understanding Final Fantasy VII when they made the way they do when they made Remake. And also just the cutscene direction is just not great. A lot of it is that it's a PSP game and they don't have it's a PSP game with new graphics, and they it is still a PSP game at heart.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. My favorite part so far is that the rumble is really good.
That's good.
Love a good rumble.
I'm thinking, man, if I were playing this on the PSP and I wasn't getting that great rumble with every hit, this just wouldn't even be fun.
Oh.
Yeah,
but it is fun.
It reminds me of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. When it came out on the PSP, I was like, holy shit, this is a real-ass Kingdom Hearts game that they squeezed down and put on the PSP. This is amazing. And then when they did the HD remake, I'm like, oh my god, they took this shitty-ass handheld game and blew it up to HD, and it does not hold up.
So last episode, I shared, I was recording from Canada. I had gone to visit one of my girlfriends, and I shared my experience with customs on the way there, which wasn't great. So you'd think that on the way back a couple of days ago, because I'm back at my home, a couple days ago was when I came back, you'd think that I started off the day with the customs thing going completely smoothly, both on the Canada and American side, no problems at all. You think that would mean it was better, right? Like the trip would be better. In fact, no. In fact, I had what I can only describe as one of the worst days of my entire life so
No.
far. It was so. First off, I'm sick. I probably don't sound, as far as I'm aware, I don't sound very sick. But I'm currently sick. I caught a cold. It feels like around Monday, and it's still feeling it now. And I was feeling it really. The first couple days, it was just a sore throat. But around Wednesday, Thursday, it started to also include like really congested, really just sneezing up a storm, stuff like that. No fever, luckily, but had those symptoms. So we spend the night that night at Niagara Falls. That way, I got us a hotel room because I was like, I don't want to make my girlfriend drive at 3 a.m. to take me all the way to the fucking border so I can then leave. It'd be better if like we go the day before. But that night I was so congested I got no sleep almost. I got maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep. So I went through this whole experience super sleep deprived and feeling worse, like it was the low point of feeling sick. Just really just all of it hitting me at once. My sinus pressure got so bad I got a sinus headache, which also then teamed up with a bunch of toothache in my mouth. And I had nothing to help with that because I was on a 9-hour bus ride. And then the bus I was on. Oh, and I should say my phone was at low battery, and the bus I was on had outlets, but the one next to my seat didn't work. So I couldn't charge my phone, and I was constantly stressing about losing battery.
Oh my god.
So all of that was happening, and then the bus at some point in the journey we pull off to stop at a gas station. We're like, oh, we're getting gas or something, and the driver's like, oh, it's going to be 45 minutes.
What?
It was like a gas station / Burger King, and he went in and he just ate a meal at Burger King while we're all just sitting on the bus. We could have left. I could have left. I should have left. I could have gotten myself some medication, but I didn't want to believe it was really going to be 45 minutes, but it was. Actually, it ended up being more close to an hour. And because I only had a 1-hour layover in New York City, that was the time for me to get from one bus to my other bus that took me home. This delay was so bad, I missed my other bus.
No.
So I was starting to realize near the tail of the bus ride, oh god, I'm going to be stranded in New York City now.
That's terrible to be stranded in New York City.
And having that impending panic on top of in such a state of headache and nose dripping and can't breathe and just like where just every moment is agony and it feels like it's going on forever. Terrible state of mind. I ended up, once I got to New York, I immediately went in, used a bathroom, got myself some headache medication and some NyQuil and some Dayquil, off-brand versions of that. Took that, and I ended up booking a different bus, so I had to spend more money that I shouldn't have spent. Did not have the money to spend it, but whatever. And then, so I had to, was keeping in contact with my partners as this was going on, and my lovely wife, because originally I was going to be dropped off in Worcester, which is like 30 minutes to 40 minutes from my home. Instead, I was going to be dropped off in Boston in the middle of the night, which I didn't want to do because my wife was going to be picking me up, and she hates driving in Boston, especially at night, which is fair. Drivers in Boston are insane. It seemed like they're trying to cause as many accidents as possible, honestly. Apologies if you live in Boston. That's just been my experience as a person sitting in someone's car while they're driving in Boston. But she ended up doing that. She's wonderful. Things did turn around. On the second bus, I was able to take an hour or two nap, which really helped my mood. And then she picked, and it helped even though the bus there was also an hour late. This time, not because of a stop or traffic, the bus driver got lost in Boston and drove around for an hour trying to find where we were supposed to go. So that all happened, but she, at the end of it, my wife was there and she had snacks for me and a blanket and she had the seat reclined and like she had an Arizona iced tea and it was just like that was nice. But on the whole, it's like all of the good things at the end doesn't negate the hell from before. So yeah, that was a really bad day and I'm still recovering from my sickness. I'm doing my best with this recording. My voice might just give out at some point, and I apologize if that happens. Good news about the drive or the bus trip. I had brought my Ars Arcanum Cosmere thing full of Cosmere short stories with me, and so I finally read. I was so afraid about my battery life, it gave me an excuse to sit down and read both Emperor's Soul and Shadows for Silence in the Forest of Hell, which are two different short stories I've been wanting to read for a while. Both very good. Though I say both very good, Emperor's Soul might be one of my favorite works of anything that Brandon Sanderson's ever written. Really fantastic. Highly, highly recommend that one. You don't need to know anything about the rest of the Cosmere or even Elantris. This is the first thing from Elantris I've read. And it read perfectly to me. It was very, very strong. Other one was very good too. It was like a little ghost story, horror-ish story thing. But yeah, that's been my week. And I guess we're gonna wait for Sam if Sam's not back yet.
I guess. Because I certainly can't hold a conversation about Cosmere stuff.
I know. Okay, while we wait for Sam, I want to pitch to you basically a magic forger, a person who specializes in forgery, including a magic version of forgery, to the point of being able to forge like different like ways a person's life could have gone and imprinting them onto who they are. After being caught, is assigned by like the head of an empire to there was a bad assassination attempt. The emperor's basically a vegetable; he's brain dead, and so she has to forge a new soul for him that can pass for the rest of his life.
Interesting.
It is a
like
wild
Revolver
concept.
Ocelot.
Yes, but good. It was really, in addition to just being a really fun concept, like the entire magic of forgery is just so fucking neat. The entire concept of just like, oh yeah, it takes this insane amount of study. You need to be able to plausibly, describe another path things could have taken for this item or this person. And just be able to like rewrite it that way. Really fun concept. And also just like it ended up being a story kind of about art and about like, is forgery art? Is, if someone perfectly recaptures a painting, like a famous work of art, is that as valuable as the original work of art? Is that not also an impressive feat in and of itself?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really interesting conversation to have, and I really enjoyed that.
Neat.
Hi, I'm back.
Hello.
So, however this is going to cut together, my week has been pretty cool. So, as acute listeners,
this is going to sound completely unnatural if we do this, because Trish talked extensively about Cosmere stuff at the end of her section.
I did.
So no one's going to believe that you just let that in naturally and then go on with your thing.
That's so funny.
I read the Cosmere things being I read Emperor's Soul and Shadows for Silence in the Forest of Hell on the bus ride, and those were like the only good parts of that first bus ride. And then I recommended Emperor's Soul extensively because it's really great and maybe one of my favorite things Sanderson's ever written.
Speaking of my favorite things, so
yes,
so acute listeners of the podcast will remember that beginning of the year I got dumped, right?
Yeah.
And the person who dumped me is an aspiring Rick Perry, which sounds bad to you, Bernard, but to the internet and dropout people, Rick Perry is a good guy.
So this is a different Rick Perry.
Yes, this is a different Rick Perry. He is the production designer for Dimension 20.
He does the most incredible mini work I've ever seen, and also the sets, the maps, whatever.
Yeah, and they're fantastic. And so the idea was that they were going to be the Rick Perry for our Pathfinder group, and we get both halves of the campaign together at the same time to do a Dragon Ball Z movie where if you think about it, it can't possibly be canon because none of the things line up, and they found the Dragon Balls like a week ago, and you can't do that. So we're going to have one of those for my birthday in March and have this big long thing and have everything be really really cool and awesome. But then they dumped me. So I had been pondering what to do, and then I was like, you know what? Matt is a mini painter for Warhammer and stuff. Let's just do it anyways. And if it sucks, it's still better than just a whiteboard, which is what we usually have. And so I ordered minis for everyone's characters. They don't know that I did this. They think they're going to just be using their Lego figures that we usually use if the online one isn't working. And so I'm getting minis of everyone. And I also, and so I found those and they were a lot cheaper than I thought they were going to be because I thought I would have to do like Hero Forge, which is like $25 a pop, but there were a lot of like pre-made ones that were actually basically exactly right. Which is we'll have to have some creative painting on stuff, including all right, Cass, my partner, her character is a bee who rides a corgi. And there was a pre-made mini of a fucking bee riding a corgi, and it's amazing. It was so cool.
That I mean, it's such an archetype.
Yeah, everyone knows that. Like
we're getting tired of it.
Like it is a thing. Like it's in the Pathfinder rules. So obviously, this minis guy that was making a bunch of Pathfinder things was like, "Yo, dude, I got to put a bee on a corgi. This is the coolest shit ever." So yeah, I found a bunch of them for super cheap, and I was super excited about that. So then I was like, why not just do the whole thing now? And so I bought a child's pirate ship that I'm going to use minis paint to make look like a good actual pirate ship, and then cut it in half to make it look like it's sinking into the television screen.
Yes.
We're doing the flat TV for our board for the day, and so we'll have a pirate ship. We have this giant pirate skeleton. We have a giant water elemental. Then for the giant ants, I could have paid $8 for a single giant ant mini, or I could pay $4 for 25 toy ants. So now I have way too many toy ants because I only need 3 of them. But yeah, and then I got these little like rubber snakes that I'm going to coil around a blob of hot glue to be giant vipers, and it's gonna be fantastic. And I managed to do basically better than I ever thought possible for $135, which is
that's
like,
awesome.
That's about like $30 more than the budget I had for everyone's minis, because I thought I was going to have to do them from Hero Forge. And so that was real cool. Me and Matt are going to have a big long hangout day painting everything. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Other than that, I played some Yuffie as well. I haven't quite beaten it yet, but it's real good, and I plan to beat it very soon. And on Tuesday, I have to turn in Cafe Ashante to Gamefly so that I can get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on release day, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, speaking of things I'm excited about, let's listen to some Paper Mario music and then talk about Paper Mario.
So because I am sick and my throat's fine now, I don't want to overtax it as much as I can avoid that. So Bernard is going to be reading my notes today.
I can't believe I can't believe you're tricking Bernard into saying vor.
I'm not gonna. I didn't put it in there this week. There's no vor this week, so there's no. Well, actually, there kind of is. There actually is. Well, I missed a opportunity. Dang.
It's the Yoshi week. There's tons of vor.
But the Yoshis aren't the one doing it. Isn't that chapter though?
Having defeated Tubba Blubba and gotten the best star move in the game, Mario and friends head into the Forever Forest to get back to Toad Town and are immediately attacked by Junior Troopa, who has been lost and scared in the forest. This time he grows bat wings and has generally gotten a bit stronger. Once he's taken care of, you get back to town where you find everyone is freaking out. Why? Shy Guys are on the loose. They're playing pranks, taking things, and being general menaces all over Toad Town. Not acting very shy, I'll say.
No, they are. It's funny that they're called Shy Guys, but mechanically it feels like Boos are the ones who are the most shy Mario enemies.
Yes. Going around town and talking can point you towards a seemingly empty house, but if you loiter too long in there, a Shy Guy comes in, then leaves. You have to use Bow to turn invisible, allowing you to spy as one of the rascals comes in and uses a secret door to get to a hidden room, inside of which is the Shy Guy's toy box, the base from which all of them have emerged. I really like how you have to just think. I'm sure if you talk to everyone, eventually someone gives you some sort of hint, but as far as I know, you just have to think, oh yeah, I could use Bow to turn invisible.
There's one person who hints like, yeah, if only you could like spy on them without being seen, but how would you do that? But in general, I do think like the investigation part of this early bit of the chapter is really fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The central area of the toy box are 4 color-coded train stations, but in order to navigate them, you'll need the toy train. To get that, you have to look around and get the storehouse key from a chest guarded by whatever Peach told Cammy to put there for the first answer in the last Peach section. And when you return that key to the store owner, he allows Mario to take whatever he wants from the back room, one of which is the toy train you need. Also, there are 2 toads in the toy box, train conductors who just live there, I guess? Oh, and you know who else lives there? A lot of different kinds of Shy Guys. Some heal, some fly, some dance, and some are on fire. Lots of variety in the guys. I love them.
I do too.
I like how the regular Shy Guys, they have a special attack where they hold their hand in the air, then run over and do a flip to attack you, and if you block, it goes wah, 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 and
yeah, they like
look
collapse.
really sad.
Yeah,
And if they hit you, the crowd cheers for them.
Yes, I love
so
it.
Good.
And this isn't the other Paper Mario games where it's a stage play, so there isn't normally a crowd.
I love it. Anyway, using the train, you can get to the next station, but the path further ahead is blocked. You need the tracks cleared by a switch. The path to that switch is blocked by Gourmet Guy, who will only let you buy if you give him cake. Find Taste Tea's frying pan and return it to her. She'll give you cake, which you can then give to the Gourmet Guy. He enjoys the cake so much he flies away, leaving a cookbook behind. You can also give to the resident Toad Town chef, so you can combine 2 ingredients together in a recipe, unlocking a lot of new items in the process. I love how she's apparently the best chef in Toad Town, and she needed a book to give her the idea to use 2 ingredients.
I know, right?
Get to the switch, activate it, you can get to the next section of the toy box. The next barrier to progress comes in a puzzle, 4 colored boxes that must be hammered in the correct order. To find that order out, you can go and get back Rusty's dictionary and the mystery note with a clue on what the order is, or you can pay attention to the colors and order of the Shy Guys who you fight to get the letter, or you can look it up online. All roads lead to General Guy, as it were.
I just came in and I thought that they were like special chests or something, so I just started hitting them and I accidentally hit them in the correct order. So I just accidentally was like, oh, I guess I win.
Nice. The last area takes you first off to a side path. where you go into a dark room and meet the Big Lantern Ghost. Yes, that is his name, apparently. No, I don't have an explanation. I have an explanation. He's big, he has a lantern, and he's a ghost.
Is he? He's more solid than the booze.
Well, he has a sheet on him.
Yeah,
I would accept a
classic ghost
ghoul.
right there.
I'd accept a ghoul, not a ghost.
He is a bit more of a ghoul. We do have ghouls and ghosts in this game.
But no goblins.
Are there any goblins?
No, there's
No,
not,
I don't
unfortunately.
think so.
Things that small list of things they could use to improve Paper Mario. Add goblins.
Yes. It's an RPG. You should be able to fight goblins.
Mm-hmm.
Or have them as a party member.
Yes. Anyway, Big Lantern Ghost fights you for some reason, and you can't attack him unless he's illuminated by his lantern. So you have to hit the lantern first to extend the sphere of its radiance, which I don't know how that works.
I don't either.
Take out the big ghost. He leaves the lantern behind, and smashing it reveals that his lantern was being powered by Watt, a literal baby who is also a Lil Sparky, and she offers to help in your adventure in return for saving her. And I noticed in the menus and stuff, they sort of play it fast and loose with her pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
like
they use her more often.
I think they use her more often. I didn't know that as a kid. I always used he, him, but it seems like she, her is more prevalent. So let's go with she, her, question mark?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just a translation confusion thing.
I had looked up something about this recently, probably when I was writing the notes for it, and Watt just speaks in literal baby talk in Japanese, and so it's not using gendered pronouns whatsoever. So,
oh, I see.
Mm-hmm. In addition to lighting up dark places, she reveals hidden blocks, and her attacks pierce enemy defense. She's real good.
She is. I think it's kind of sad that it feels like compared to any other partner of the game, she has the least story, which is maybe part of a consequence of just her. Most partners, join your party at the beginning of the chapter, and hers is just at the very end. And it's literally this, oh, she was being held in a lantern by this weird good dude. Okay. Anything? No, that was apparently her whole story. Okay.
Are little Sparkies those things that go around the platforms in Mario and are real scary?
Super Mario World. Yeah.
Okay, that's what she is. Okay.
So, want to know something funny about me insisting on playing this fucking ROM hack instead of the original Paper Mario for this?
Yes.
The widescreen?
Yes, the widescreen hack. The darkness mechanic just doesn't work. So I could see in the fight with the lantern ghost. So I didn't realize that I was doing anything. I was like, I thought like, oh, I know you get Watt here. I remember we getting Watt here. So do I have to break the thing? And so I was like hitting with the hammer and it wasn't doing anything. Then I would try to jump on the guy and I couldn't jump on the guy, and nothing I was doing was making any sense. And so then I looked up on the guide and I'm like, oh, that's just not happening for me. That's not possible. So the hardest thing for me today was just in general the fiery Shy Guys. They just kicked my ass constantly.
Oh yeah.
But then secondly was navigating both of the dark rooms to first find Watt and second to make it out the other side to fight the general. It was very, very, very annoying. And yet I did not back up my save and load it up in the regular ROM. So I'm stupid.
Anyway, with Watt's help, you can head the other direction, brighten up a room full of Shy Guys who are running away from you, forcing them to retreat through a wall into the lair of the chapter's big bad, General Guy. Rather than facing you directly, General Guy throws lots of mooks at you first. A crowd of Shy Guys all at once, then stilt guys, then stacks of 4 Shy Guys on top of each other. It's only after you defeat those masses that he fights you himself in his tank, which has a light bulb attached for devastating electrical moves, that you can break the bulb to disable that feature. Once you take him out, you free the next Star Spirit, and it's time for more playing as Peach. in the worst Peach section of the game.
Yeah, especially I remember as a kid, this one I didn't first try this time. As a kid, this was infuriating.
This time, Peach has to sneak out of her room to make a cake for Gourmet Guy, who is somehow on the castle now. In return for this, he won't tell Bowser that she snuck out, and he'll give valuable info to pass on to Mario, because it turns out Gourmet Guy doesn't dislike Mario. The cake making is a little whack, to the point where I, open parent Trish, close parent, am tempted to try making a cake using the order of ingredients it suggests. Don't worry, though. Trish will not try to bake it for 30 seconds. Trish does not want to give anyone food poisoning.
I'm just saying, it asks you to... You start by whipping eggs and sugar instead of butter and sugar, and then it just says add butter and flour, and I'm like, that doesn't... Listen, I make more cookies than I do cakes, but that doesn't sound right. That just sounds wrong.
And, also, you ice it as soon as it comes out of the oven.
Yes, yeah, you do. Would you? No, big no.
And yeah, Nintendo of this era liked putting timing challenges in their Nintendo 64 games, where you just have to try and guess the time. I say they like to do that because I can think of this and one other example of it, which is in Majora's Mask.
Okay, but I have to bring up the very hilarious thing that the way they count this, the timing of this cake. One of my favorite YouTuber who does Paper Mario things, Strider7X, did a video about buffer overflow, about how you can actually bake the cake for 4.5 years and the game will accept it.
Nice.
Because it takes that long for the buffer overflow to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Nintendo 64. It's got a lot of space.
Do you have to get it? Do you have to get it exactly right? Like in
you have to get it in a
Mask?
30-second. You have to get it in a 30-second interval.
But
you mean the 30-second cook time? It has wiggle room. I think it has enough frames on either side that can be basically like between 25 and 35 seconds or 28 and 32 seconds, something like that. But it's narrow enough of a window that as a kid, I messed up making this cake so many times.
okay, I got it, but I was using a timer to help me because I just finished. It was over a month ago now, but just finished watching the Majora's Mask speedrun where they literally had everybody on the couch trying to get that mask because it's stupid hard, and so I was prepared for that, so I had a timer up to help me.
It's not as bad as that, but
yeah.
So, according to this 15-year-old Game FAQs thread, they're saying 25 seconds is sufficient, but you can't go over 30 seconds.
Okay. That's probably what messed me up as a kid a lot. It's just like even being a little over 30. And in my brain, I'm like, 30 is the exact amount you need to hit.
Being a little over 30 is also messing me up right now, in general.
There's a soda over 30, agreed.
Anyway, you successfully make Gourmet Guy cake that he likes, and he shares that the next Star Spirit is held by Lava Piranha on Lava Lava Island, inside Mount Lava Lava. Twink leaves to tell Mario, and Cammy comes in and has Peach taken away.
As happens in every Peach section.
Yes.
I just want to say here, I didn't put it in the notes because I didn't know how to address it or how to put it down, but just note, Gourmet Guy, fat phobic, joke on, big guy likes to eat sort of thing again,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything new or original to say about it, except I don't care for it.
Yeah. Back with our hero, he has just gotten his new star move from Muscular, Chill Out, which reduces enemy attack power. When Twink arrives mid-scene to share his info, it takes him a bit to do so, as he's kind of starstruck, meeting one of the great star spirits. But Muscular is very casual about the whole thing. They both fly away, and now we're faced with the question, how do we get to Lava Lava Island? Easy, you head to the port, where people are talking about a strange monster in the port. As a hip drop will reveal, it's not a monster or a tuna, as Colorado continues to insist. Yes, he's here too, get used to it. But a whale. And that whale has something wrong inside of him. After opening his mouth to let Mario inside for consensual voring this time, the
You
use of
did make
what?
him say it.
No, I added
he,
that.
he
Oh,
chose
you
to
did.
add that. That wasn't me.
The use of what will reveal that Fuzzy Pete, a caterpillar who the local fisherman was trying to use as bait, already got swallowed and has been jumping around inside the stomach. You have to beat him in a fight, after which he and Mario are both expelled through the whale's blowhole. And I tried for a little bit to try and figure out a way to light up the room and have Goombario out so that I could tattle
I
Fuzzy
know, and you
Pete.
can't. It's so infuriating.
It's so maddening that you cannot tattle Fuzzy Pete. Apparently, if you do so with cheats, like the game crashes or something.
Oh,
I forget exactly what happens,
the
but yeah,
forbidden tattle.
there's no tattle data for Fuzzy Pete, so it don't work.
I do think it's really neat that like you've been able to come to the docks this whole game. It just hasn't been relevant up to this point. And Fuzzy Pete has been here, and if you talk to him and the fisherman dude, they've had like a thing going on this whole time about him being annoyed at being seen as bait. And it's just funny that just randomly actually comes up as part of the story now.
Mm-hmm. In return for curing his stomachache, the whale offers Mario a ride to Lava Lava Island, and Colorado tags along because he's a pest. Heading to the island, you find a whole village of Yoshis, and all seems well. Since we know where to go for the Star Spirit, this should be a breeze, right? Well, no, because following Colorado to the volcano, they find no way of actually getting there. Also, Colorado gets attacked by enemies twice during all of this, and then he fakes it happening a third time as a joke, which is not cool.
You know what's even less cool? I discovered you could just ignore him.
Yep.
It's just I just kept walking, and he just eventually like, "Unhand me, you brute!" And he comes back. He's like, "Mario, that was quite rude of you."
I actually find Colorado very entertaining in this chapter.
Oh, I do too. But he's also just such an annoying jerk.
Yes, absolutely. Getting back to the Yoshi village, everyone is panicking. The children, who call themselves the Fearsome Five, as though they're some supervillain team, have disappeared in the jungle. Looking nearby, it isn't hard to find Sushi, a cheap who is the caretaker of the kids, currently stuck in a tree. Once you get her down, she asks for Mario's help in rounding up all the kids, and thus joins the party. Sushi lets you ride on her, allowing you to traverse through water so long as you can go from dock to dock. And luckily, this jungle has docks.
Everywhere. It's so convenient.
Scouring the jungle, you can find the 5 kids hidden all over. Though doing so means getting past Spear Guys, another Shy Guy variant, Monster Bushes, Jungle Fuzzies, and Putrid Piranhas. And the Heart Plants. The bad heart
I
plants.
forgot.
What are they called?
You never have to fight the heart plants, though. I didn't.
Oh, I guess so.
I didn't even think of them, but you're right. That is another enemy there. In general, there's a lot of. I enjoy that. Like the thing of the jungle is there are something like if you're the kind of person like I want to examine everything or play with everything. Some of the things in this jungle just hurt you.
Yep. Like there's a big plant that looks like it'd be really good to bounce on, but if you jump on it, it just like it closes in on you and hurts you.
Yeah.
Once they're all found, the village chills out and the leader offers his help in Mario's quest, giving over the Jade Raven, a key towards the path of Raphael the Raven, who we all know from Yoshi's Island.
I reference that later.
Oh, nice. Sushi interrupts, being very confused as to why Mario, who she has never heard of before, needs to enter a volcano. Explaining it all to her, Sushi thinks the tale of Mario attempting to rescue Peach is so romantic that she just has to help, and so decides to keep tagging along.
I find it very funny we went from getting a baby partner last chapter to this chapter getting a grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Sam would get this reference. Sushi is like the Evelyn Smythe of Mario partners.
Absolutely.
Using the Jade Raven on a statue deep in the jungle, you have to solve a few puzzles before arriving at a giant tree, and after climbing it, you find a massive raven, who apparently had a talk with the Star Spirits and thus knows all about the problems at hand and is ready to help. He sends his mini ravens out who build a pulley system to get into the volcano, and then Raphael himself gives Mario the Ultra Stone, a key item that lets you upgrade partners a second time. Pretty nice for a guy who tried to stomp Mario to death as a baby. He had character growth.
He had character growth.
And the Ultra Stone, I love it.
The Ultra Stone is so... What's fun is if
I
you've been...
completely forgive him.
Mm-hmm. It's really fun because if you've been playing like I have, going to get everything up to this point, then when you get the Ultra Stone, all of your party members have been upgraded once. And so you get this Ultra Stone, it's like, oh good, so I can now upgrade a second time, but you have 6 or 7 partners. 6 partners at this point, I think. Wait.
You have a lot.
You have a lot of partners. So the choice is immediately really hard on, like, who do you want to upgrade? Because it's such a hard decision. Everyone gets, the flat damage boost, but you also get a new move. And a lot of the moves you get for the Ultra upgrade are really good.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, there are 2 upgrade boxes in Mount Lava Lava.
Yes.
Which is nice of them.
It is is quite nice. I did the non-standard thing, and I did not upgrade Sushi, which, if you're playing this the first time, upgrade Sushi. It's the best choice for this boss fight.
Yeah, she has water power.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I went with Goombario and Bombette. Because I love Bombette in this run, I want to make her one of my star partners. And also, Mega Bomb is just such a great move.
It is. As one might expect, the volcano of Mount Lava Lava is full of lava bubbles, more putrid piranhas, and spike tops, none of which are particularly pleasant to fight. Colorado comes in with you, eager to search the ruins for treasure, but he keeps hurting himself in the process. Delving deep into the volcano, Mario finds the Ultra Hammer, increasing hammer damage once more, and also letting him break metal blocks, which I think look really weird.
They do look very weird.
I never thought that they were metal growing up.
Also,
they look like candy.
They do look like candy. They're very brightly colored. I just said that they were ruins in there because that's what the game keeps calling them. But, like, especially compared to Dry ruins, does Mount Lava Lava actually feel like ruins that should have some ancient treasure in them? Because to me, they really don't.
No, it feels like about as natural a place as you can get in a Mario game.
Yeah.
In the
it
battle
just feels
system,
like a volcano level.
In the battle scene, there are walls with drawings on them in the battles.
Oh, I didn't notice. I did not notice that.
It's just like there
are some places where there's like straight lines and stuff.
Yeah, no, there are. It's like I can kind of see it, but it also feels like calling it a ruin doesn't feel right.
Yeah. But he knows there's treasure here because he is the archaeologist.
He's the archaeologist.
Anyway, getting the Ultra Hammer makes it easy to smash away through to Lava Piranha, the great piranha plant who lives in lava and has 2 buds to attack with him. And even after you take him down the first time, he just comes back, now on fire and doing more damage. Colorado will try to help around that point and only gets burned. Taking them out a second time frees Miststar, but the chapter isn't over yet. The volcano is getting ready to erupt. With the help of Miststar and the not help, but the presence of Colorado, Mario and crew get to a point where the Star Spirit can fly them out of the volcano just as it erupts behind them, sending the very treasure that Colorado was so excited for off into the jungle. Over with Peach, another round of sneaking out finds her stumbling into the 64th annual quiz show, hosted by Mr. Hammer, possibly the same one she overheard in the library earlier. At first, he and his Koopa Patrol friend want to turn her in, but they need a third contestant for their quiz, so they ask Peach. Participating in the quiz gives her all the information needed on where the next Star Spirit is located, namely in Flower Fields, held by Huff and Puff. If you win the quiz, you win a jam and jelly. But regardless of how well you do, you get a useful key item as a participation award. The Sneaky Parasol. This magic umbrella will let Peach disguise herself as anyone she uses it on, and that'll come in handy next time. And wow, that's a really good participation prize.
Yeah. It is. It is no jam and jelly, but it is quite the nice prize. It's also hilarious that they give this to the captive who they're trying to guard.
Yes, they don't think that through. Right now, though, it's time for her to head back to her room. Back with Mario and friends and Colorado, Colorado is dejected and sad that he lost the treasure that was never his in the first place, and he walks off in a huff. Miss Star gives Mario more star power and a new move, Smooch, which regains 20 HP. Is that going to be useful in the upcoming chapters? Do you even have more than 20 max HP right now? Does Flower Fields have anything to do with those magical seeds you've been finding the whole game? You'll just have to find out next time.
All right, so let's listen to some Paper Mario music, and then we'll talk about all of our myriad memorable moments.
So, starting off with chapter 4 things, something fun I noticed here is we talked a little bit about just like the fun, all different kinds of Shy Guys, and the very like fun, like weird, almost like kids playing dress up feeling they have going on with all their different styles and different moves. But also what I love is to really cement that like, oh, these are all just like slightly different like it's like they have different classes, but they're all the same level. They all have the same HP. They all have 7 HP, which is the same HP as the damage you do with Starstorm, the recent move you just got from the last chapter. And I think that's such fun game design as just like hey, we did just give you this move you could use to take out the whole swath of bad guys here. It's fine.
Yeah, it's really nice to remember you have that when you encounter 4 Shy Guys and like some of them are on fire and stuff. And you're like, oh, thank God. Or the Spy Guys.
I was gonna say the Spy Guys who wear camo and can switch between different weapons. If they have their hammer out, they can stop you from using certain moves.
I completely forgot about Starstorm.
Starstorm's really useful. It's basically like it's the Mario equivalent of force damage in D&D, where it's like Starstorm doesn't get like reduced or negated by anything. It's just it hits 7 damage flat, period, no matter what.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm bad at this game, so not only did I never think to use Starstorm, I also I game overed like 5 times in chapter 4, and every time I did, it was right before it was right after I had come back from doing a long stupid thing in Toad Town. So then I had to come back and do the long stupid thing again, and I was, it's not like I don't really know why I'm sucking at it, and I think it could just be the age old RPG thing of I did not have fun fighting the Super Saiyan rock dudes last time, so I skipped every single one of those fights. So I'm probably just underleveled, but yeah, I died so hard. I save scummed my way through the room on the way to Watt because the fire guys,
there's so many.
There's so many of them, and I did not remember I had Starstorm, so I would save at the beginning of a section to run and try and juke around them to get through it to the next one, further stealing XP for myself. But whatever. I was not having a good time because I was real bad at this game that is for literal babies that I beat when I was 7. And this was my favorite chapter when I was 7. So,
this is one of my favorite chapters.
I was not 7. This game came out when I was 9. So it was sometime later than that. But yeah, I definitely
was like 8 or 9.
I definitely was a wee babby, and I had no problems with this chapter, enough that it was my favorite. And I barely could get through it today.
I liked this chapter more than I did when I replayed the game a few months ago. I like how you have to leave the dungeon, go into town, do stuff, come back to the dungeon. But I still think it's one of my less favorite chapters, mainly just because I find the music in the toy box annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that. I like it, but I can see how it can be annoying. I really like the atmosphere. I enjoyed the novelty of the dungeon. Like, in general, I think this is a very fun. We talked about last time how Chapter 3 kind of switched things up with the Star Spirit being taken by another group and given to you as a reward for doing what they want. And this one switching up again where it's like, oh, you're not going anywhere special. The place you're going is in Toad Town, and the whole chapter is kind of enmeshed in all the the lives of the NPCs around Toad Town.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a really fun twist on what they've been doing so far. But I definitely think that like feeling is valid. I also just personally love General Guy. I think he's just a very fun, silly. He's one of my favorite bosses, and just being a kind of a goof in how serious he is. There's a lot of like fun physical gags throughout this chapter. Like Shy Guys are really good for physical comedy.
I love Shy Guys.
They're so good.
I love
also,
when they're in Mario Kart and they're dancing around the side of the track going wow, wow, wow.
Also, in complete opposite to Sam's experience, I'm so over leveled that by midway / the end of each chapter so far, I'm getting to the point where my level is high enough that I can't get any EXP from the battles anymore. And so, or I get like one star point from per battle. And so, I didn't really have much of a trouble through the toy box, to the point where when I got up to, not mention the recap, there is in the very first area of the Shy Guys toy box, there is a optional chest being guarded by Anti-Guy, a Shy Guy in black who speaks with hearts and is really cute, but it's very much like, oh, do you want to fight me to take this? You really don't. Trust me, you really don't want to do that. And they're not joking. You don't want to fight them usually, but I did, and I beat them soundly, which is not something I've ever been able to do before. Because they hit for either 10 or 12 damage per turn.
Can you come back at a later chapter and fight Anti-Guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also, there's a way to get what's in the chest without fighting them. You can give them a lemon candy, I think. It was lemon or lime candy. You can make that, give that to them, it's their favorite thing, and they'll give you what's in the chest without having to fight them. And what you want that, because in the chest is a Power Plus badge. There's only a couple of those in the game. They take 6 BP, but they increase all of Mario's damage by 1, flatly. Mm-hmm. The other one that I have 2 of them. I have that one, and then you can trade in 25 star pieces for 1. So I have 2 of those. I've currently got 2 of those. I've got the All or Nothing badge. I've got the Defense Plus badge. So Mario's just a tank. Very little health, but doing insane damage. Whoop. In my run right now. I do think it is really interesting that like they put these Power Plus badges off in these like, you know, behind a really hard mini boss, or getting a bunch of star pieces, like these very like difficult things to get. And then the Defense Plus badge, which is, as the name implies, it just raises your defense by 1. It's just in Shy Guy's toy box. It's not hidden. There's no like big thing you do. It's just there. You can grab it.
The random mob right before it is one of the hardest ones in the dungeon, but it's still just a set of random mobs. It's just its particular brand of like assortment of Shy Guys are kind of nasty together. There's 2 healers and 2 of the ones that summon dudes. So
true.
It can go on for a hot minute.
But you have Starstorm, and you wouldn't forget that.
Definitely
you wouldn't forget that. But I don't know, I think that's an interesting design decision to make Defense Plus such an easy badge to get. And then, you know, put Power Plus gated behind these things for more advanced players. It's just like, hey, do you want to just wreck everything? Here's where you can get these if you want.
Speaking of cool game design, you mentioned the Dark Shy Guy and how you're supposed to come back and fight him in a later chapter or give him another thing. Actually, you're supposed to upgrade Watt, freeze them with the paralyzed move,
that works.
Which stuns them for several turns. So then you buff up Mario, and Mario uses his Charge Stomp, both things that you get in the dungeon. So he does like 7 or 8 per jump, and then you use the jump over and over and over again until they die.
That is a strategy.
And you can beat them very, very quickly and pretty easily.
The main thing I use, even more than like buffing my attack, because I only have 1 Power Plus badge when I fought him, was just Sleep Stomp. I'm going to recommend again, Sleep Stomp is a really good badge that you should keep because most bosses and mini bosses aren't immune to sleep conditions. And it's just really handy to just be like, I'll spend a couple FP to put this guy to sleep. Because, yeah, you could just put Anti-Guy to sleep.
Sam couldn't even remember Starstorm. You're asking Sam a lot to remember to use a status effect in an RPG.
Yeah.
I don't usually, but this is good. Listen, I love it in an RPG where nothing makes me not want to use status moves more than making status moves basically useless the times when you would want to be using them.
Yeah.
And I love a game that goes, oh no, they work. Don't worry.
Yeah.
In fact, there is a later optional mini boss who has a whole secret mechanic around like putting him to sleep is the easiest way to beat him. Also, I found something new. I found several things new this time playing that I hadn't found other times we played this game. Did you know that you can kill the fire bars in Chapter 5?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that.
I learned that because I was looking at the retro achievements. Even though I don't really care about retro achievements, I was looking at them and it was like, kill the fire bars. And I was like, huh. So I tried hitting them with the hammer, but then I noticed them going faster when I jumped over them. And I was like, oh.
There's like a point where you need to be like waiting for a little like rock thing to come to you through the lava, and there's a fire bar and you have to be jumping while it's coming for you. And it speeds up. I knew that originally, but I never had been doing it so long that if you just keep jumping over it, it explodes into coins. And I was like, wait, that's a thing?
Mm-hmm.
I've played this game so many times. How did I not know that was a thing? I very warm on Chapter 4. I'm not quite as warm on Chapter 5. I think Colorado is fun. I enjoy the Yoshis and everything. And Raphael the Raven is very cool. I think the whole jungle and the types of enemies they fill it with, it feels exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big area you have to go through a lot, and it's just most playthroughs I end up with just running from so many battles. I didn't this time, but usually it just leaves me with this feeling of just like, I don't like being in this jungle.
I actually really love Chapter 5 a lot. For reasons we've talked about. Not only are there things that hurt you, there are things that you can interact with that just don't do anything. And like there are, like I remember when I was a kid, I was at like 9 years old. I was playing this game with one of my friends, and we were in Chapter 5. And I walked up to a flower and I pressed A, and it lit up and went dong. And I was like, oh, that helped. And my friend said, what did it do? And I said, nothing. And he thought that was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. And to be fair, we were like 9 and very sheltered. So maybe it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. But Chapter 5 has lots of fun little things like that in it. And yeah, I like Chapter 5. The next chapter that we're about to play, I think is the worst part of the game.
I would agree.
Okay, I'm glad we're in agreement.
Yeah, I will say I do really appreciate one thing about Chapter 5, which is, again, like them playing with the formula that you think they're sticking to. I love that beating the boss doesn't end things. Like, you still have that whole segment of having to escape the volcano. Like, that's just a really fun little set piece afterwards. It makes it feel like just a little special.
Also, when you take down Lava Piranha's HP, it like falls down, you get the star points, the camera zooms in on Mario like it does at the end of a battle, but then things start shaking and like it does a fake out that the battle's actually ending, but then it doesn't, and it's great.
It's so good. And I really love this is one of those bosses I just distinctly remember as a kid absolutely kicking my ass, and it being and like it still kind of kicked my ass like this time to play. Like, yeah, I have this build that's extremely high damage, but the boss has 3 different, there's 3 different avenues of attack every turn, and I only have 15 health because of how I've leveled up. So this thing can kill me in like 1 or 2 turns. It's not a joke.
Oh, it's a hard fight.
And I didn't do the sushi move, which would have made this much easier. I was using Goombario.
I at one point had Goombario out as my partner, and I had the Fire Shield
Mm-hmm.
badge on Mario, so I forgot
Oh.
that you can't just jump on fire guys. So I
Mm-hmm.
had Goombario do head bonk on one of the on fire piranha plants, and that took him out for a bit. And I was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah. In this game, the badges do not extend to your partners. I mean, they don't in the other game, but they have partner specific badges for that.
Hmm. Yeah, so you gotta remember that. Oh,
Yeah.
that reminds me. In Yoshi Village, you can go up a tree and see a bunch of ravens, and you can talk to them, and they just say "caw" at you.
Yes.
And I did tattle next to one of them,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Gumbario always talks about how they're cute. And at one point, he's like, "I told Cooper that ravens are cute, and he said I have weird taste." And I just love the
Me
implication that
too.
in our pockets, these characters are having conversations all the time, and
I
I
love it.
wish. I love all the tiny bits of characterization we get for the partners in this game.
I
I
wish they
wish there
had
were
more.
more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, actually, also fun thing when it comes to weird secret things. One of the things I have found from doing a lot of randomizers in this game, because it's a check and I need to know every check in the game. Uh, the yellow adult Yoshi in Yoshi Village here, after all the kids are saved, the only indication this is a thing is if you examine her with if you tattle on her with Goombario, it mentions she's a gourmet who loves things from Taste Tea. If you talk to her with a Taste Tea cooked item in your inventory, she will give you something. I
Oh,
don't remember what the vanilla thing is because I've only done it in a randomizer. I haven't gone and done this yet. I'm gonna really quickly look because I should have looked ahead of time. But there is a check there. She gives you something.
neat.
She
A
gives you
melon.
a melon.
What does it do in this game? Does it restores
Uh,
15 HP? Does not let Mario shoot seeds
no, it does
like a Yoshi can.
no. Um, However, you can use it to make special shakes, which are apparently really good for restoring FP. It's 20 FP for that.
Nice.
And you can use it to make a Yoshi cookie,
You
which
gotta
there's a
get
whole
Yoshi
game.
cookie.
There's a whole game about them.
Yeah.
It's called Yoshi's Cookie.
Oh, I thought it was Wario's Woods.
No, that's a different game. Yeah, there's also Yoshi's Safari when it comes to Mario games people don't know exist.
Oh, I love Yoshi Safari.
Yoshi's Safari is a very fun, weird ass Super Scope game.
There's also Yoshi Touch and Go. I forget what you
Yes.
do in that one.
It's
I
a
think you
Yoshi's
touch and
Island.
go.
Yoshi's Island where you can draw clouds for Yoshi to climb on.
Yeah.
That was one of those early DS games where they didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything else about what we played today?
Yeah, so we've mentioned a couple times about how various things stumped us as kids. The one that stumped me as a kid and stumped me for a little bit today is when you go to get the toy train.
Oh,
You don't.
yes.
Yeah.
You have to throw it in the box so that it blue skidoos into it to be, full size in there instead of blue skidooing in your pocket and being small on the inside. And I think that's super clever. And the only hint in game is if you try to hand it to the Toad, he goes, "What do I want with the toy train? Put that back in the toy box where it belongs."
What are those dudes doing in there? They just live in there?
The whole metaphysics of the toy box scare me.
So here's my explanation. I have a no prize. I have a no prize. Shy Guys were first introduced to the Mario series in Super Mario Bros. 2, which is a game that takes place in
a dream.
in Subcon, which is a dream realm that also still canonically exists in Mario. So, considering that it seems like Shy Guys might just in canon come from kind of weird extra-dimensional places and not really the main Earth, them living in some weird extra-dimensional toy chest fits.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least they're not working for a giant frog this time, who hates vegetables.
Mm-hmm. Man, I really wish they would make a follow-up to Super Mario Brothers 2. I think that game is really fun and its
It
mechanics are
is!
great.
It's so underrated!
I would love a modern new game that is just... I think they could call it Super Mario Panic, and it would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else anyone had?
I think that's it.
I just really like this game, and I'm hoping
do
that
too.
Flower Fields is not as much of a drag as I remember it being a few months ago.
I hope so as well.
But it just takes a while, as I remember.
Yeah. And it's not always clear. It has like one of the worst things for like the thing where you're like, I gotta go look up a walkthrough, I have no idea what to do now. And it has that like multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam, if people want to support the podcast, how would they do that?
They can head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where any and all donations will help us cover the cost of running the show and making it better and better. Setting up a recurring monthly donation also gets you some additional benefits. If you donate $1 more a month, you get access to our bonus feed, where this week we did it. We're done. We're free. We beat Tales of Destiny Director's Cut.
Yay!
You say that, but have you played it yet? Because we haven't recorded this episode yet. Have you played it yet?
No, I haven't
Block
played it.
out a day for that final dungeon.
But I have nothing else planned for the rest of the night. I'm going to put on some Star Trek and I'm going to do the whole rest of the game. But I want, even if by some chance I'm not done with it tomorrow, we're recording the episode tomorrow and we're freeing ourselves from Tales of Destiny Director's Cut.
Yes.
But you will also get access to our polls to decide what game we play next on the main feed. That will be relevant again in a couple months' time. If you donate $5 a month, we'll follow $5 or more a month. I just am skipping every word today. If you donate $5 or more a month, we'll also shout out your name at the end of every episode, just like this. Shoutouts to Cerebral Wind, It's Clear Time, Frosthair, Dragon Slayer 19, Floris, Kaldron, Freddy Rodriguez, Aaron524, and Jfro Prime. And then finally, if you love us so much you want to donate $20 or more a month, you can also get me to say a sentence of your choosing, either to plug something or just to make me say something. So shouts to El Tantafi, who wants you to check out aftermath.site, a worker-owned, reader-supported news site covering video games, the internet, and the cultures that surround them. And shoutouts to Vimke, who wants you to play Legend of Legaia. I am underprepared this week. I don't have another cute way to say it, so just go play Legend of Legaia. If me and Bernard are freeing ourselves from the hell of Tales of Destiny, then y'all can free me of the hell of talking about Legend of Legaia by playing it for Vimke. So then shoutouts to Carr, who is a dentist, so he isn't plugging a website, but rather your own mouth, and he says to brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly the time right before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm Bernard.
And I'm Trish.
Toodaloo, folks.
Bye.
Wait, what if the Toodaloo folks lady isn't in Persona 3 Reload? What do we do?
Who is the Toodaloo folks lady?
The I think she's the item shop lady for the Hierophant. I think. I don't remember, but it made us laugh, and that's why it's been our outro for
so
years.
Funny. Oh, the lore.
I didn't know there was a I didn't know there was a reason for this. I thought you were just saying Toodaloo because you were a silly person.
No, it made all three of us die when we played Persona 3.